Good afternoon to everyone. I hope you can hear me. In case you're not able to hear me, just put it in the chat so that I can know if there is any technical issue. Great. Okay, so I'll begin then. Very good afternoon to everyone once again. My name is Tejas Lapchetwar. I'm representing the organization Gyanberry. We are a study abroad specialist company. And we are a very proud GEMS UniConnect partner. That's why I'm very happy to be part of the My Path to Uni activities. I think you guys are fortunate that you are being provided with so many opportunities for studying abroad so that you can make an informed decision. Before I begin the presentation, I would like to thank Ms. Lena for organizing this session for us and giving me an opportunity to talk to all of you. I'm not sure who all are there, so if there are counselors, students, parents here, my warm greetings to all of you. For those who are not aware of Gyanberry or those who did not attend our previous sessions, I will just spend few seconds on introducing us. We are a trusted study abroad company established in 2013. We are among the only two agencies in UAE which are certified by the American International Recruitment Council. We officially represent a network of around 500 plus universities so that you get maximum options to choose from. In terms of our experience, we have concluded over 10,000 plus one-to-one counseling sessions with various students from various schools in UAE. And one of the unique attractions about our agency is that we are the official entrance exam center for various European universities. In terms of the network of universities, we not only represent universities from the English-speaking countries, but we represent a lot of universities from the European region, as well as from the emerging destinations, such as Malaysia, Japan, Russia, Georgia, Turkey, and Northern Cyprus. Our today's agenda is focused on two countries, which is Georgia and Russia. Within that, we are going to talk about medical studies in these two countries. And I'm going to take you through the list of partner universities that we work with, why you should choose these two countries for your medical studies. And I will provide you information about the tuition fee structures, the course duration, and the admission process. So let's get started. Before I get into the details, it is very important we talk about the location of the countries itself. Obviously, all of us know where Russia is located, but we have seen students get confused where Georgia is located. It is a tiny country located in the southwest of Russia, as you can see here. And Russia itself is a big country. There are two particular cities which are popular in Russia, which is St. Petersburg and Moscow. St. Petersburg being the capital city and Moscow being the commercial capital of the country. And the capital of Georgia is Tbilisi. All the three cities, Tbilisi, Moscow, and St. Petersburg, they are quite accessible from UAE, both from Abu Dhabi and Dubai. There are a lot of direct international flights reaching to these cities every day. So let's talk about why you should choose Russia and Georgia for your higher studies, especially for medical studies. One of the most common and the popular reasons is the tuition fee structure in these countries. Since majority of the universities are state funded, the international students are charged a very nominal fee. For medical studies, you can expect to pay as low as around $3,000 per year for education, which makes it very, very economical to pursue your studies. Another reason, as I mentioned in the previous slide, is that these two countries are at a close proximity from UAE. So if you take a direct flight, it will not take you more than 3 to 4 hours to reach to the capital city of these countries. So that the parents, especially if you wish to visit your kids during the summer holidays, or if in case there is an emergency, it is very easier to reach to these countries from UAE. Moreover, Georgia offers on arrival visa for many nationalities. So you don't have to go through the hassle of visit visas in case you wish to visit the kids, during any time. For Russia, you will need a visa, but it's not as complicated as you might think. Another reason to choose these countries for medical education is the recognition of the degrees. If you graduate from one of the state medical universities from Russia or Georgia, your degree will be recognized in India. Your degree will be recognized by many of the Gulf countries. And if you wish to pursue your further education in the US, Canada, or the UK, your degree will be recognized there as well. Indeed, after you finish your medical education from Russia and Georgia, if you wish to go to your home country or to the US or Canada, definitely you need to pass certain licensure examinations in order to further continue your practice as a doctor in those countries. Another important reasons why students choose Russia and Georgia is there are no admission tests. So you don't have to take extra burden beyond your high school academics to get into the medical schools. I will talk about it in a bit more in detail in the admission process slide. And last, but the very important factor, which is the language of instruction. Most of the medical schools for international students, they run in English language. So you don't need to know any prior Russian or Georgian language to apply to these universities. Now let's talk about the partner universities, the network of universities which we represent. Obviously, both the countries have many universities, but we have our set of universities that we work with. For those who are very proficient in Russian language, I will stay on this slide for few more seconds. Otherwise, I will skip it because even I myself cannot read many of the names that you see here. To make your life easy and my life easy, here is the list of universities that we work with. From point number 1 to point number 8, these are the universities based in Russia. And point number 9, which is the Tbilisi State University, it is based in Georgia. All the universities, if you see here, there's one common word, which is the state. All these universities are government and public funded universities. So it brings you two benefits. One is the recognition and accreditation. Since these are recognized in their home country, it is very likely that if you take the degree from these universities and travel abroad, you will not face any issues in terms of recognitions or accreditations because of the treaties and agreements between different countries. They recognize each other's government medical schools. The second benefit is the fees itself. Since these are state funded, even international students pay a lower fee structure. And here you can see the benefit of the fees. If you see for the Russian universities such as Tambov, Saratov, Ural, Astrakhan, Yatisgorsk, these universities are in the range of $3,000 to $4,000 per year. There's only one exception in terms of the fee structure, which is the Sechenov University in Moscow. The fees is slightly higher, it's around $10,000 per year. Whereas for the Ivan Tbilisi State University in Georgia, the fees is roughly around $6,000 per year. In terms of the living expenses, both in Russia and Georgia, you can expect to pay somewhere between $3,000 per year, which can include everything, your accommodation, books, or any day-to-day expenses that you might have for your entire stay. So if you see on a lower scale, you can expect to pay somewhere between $3,000 for the fees and $3,000 for the living expenses, which is $6,000. That comes out to roughly 20 to 21,000 dirhams per year, making it a very, very economical destination for your higher studies. Now let's talk about the course duration. How long does it take to become a doctor in Russia and Georgia? In terms of the duration of studies for general medicine, for doctor studies, it is very similar to the European universities. So it takes 6 years. For those universities which offers dentistry and pharmacy, you can complete it in 5 years. And in case you are not accepted for the first year of the medicine or dentistry, there is also an option for foundation year to cover either your academic skills or to cover your language skills. So that can take an extra 1 year. In terms of the language of instruction, this is very important for you to know. So when I say the universities are in English, technically only the first 3 years are in English. So you don't need to know any language to apply. So you can complete your first 3 years completely in English because they are more theoretical subjects. But if you continue the last 3 years, which are mostly the clinical subjects, wherein you are interacting with the patients in the hospitals, wherein you are interacting with Russian or Georgian doctors and nurses, maybe they will use dual language communication, which is the English and their native language. So what the university does is they provide you the necessary language training during the first 3 years. Say, for example, they will teach you the basic Russian communication skills in the first 3 years, so that when you start the clinical years, you're more comfortable in understanding the doctor-patient interaction. And this is true for any country which does not have English as their native language. So at some point of time, to work in their medical industry or the healthcare industry, you need to learn the local language. Now let's talk about the admission requirements. It is very, very straightforward, not at all complicated, unlike other countries wherein medical admissions is a nightmare for many students. For Russia and Georgia, it is very straightforward. So if you wish to gain admission into the first year of the university, which many of you want to obviously choose for, you just need to have a high school diploma. You can be from any school curriculum in the UAE, that's absolutely fine. You need to have your high school diploma. Plus, additionally, you need to have your equivalency certificate, which should be issued either by KSDA or by Ministry of Education, or if your school is based in Abu Dhabi, then you need to have it from the ADIC. And I'm sure your schools will help you out with these formalities. And since the programs begin in English, you obviously need to prove your proficiency in English language. You can have IELTS 5.5 or any other similar test such as the TOEFL IBT. And that's about it. You don't need to know any prior Russian or Georgian language to apply. And as I explained in the previous slide, there are no entrance exams. So you just need to focus on your high school studies. You need to get good grades in your high school, and you can apply to the universities. Now, the common question that we get asked is, what is the percentage that I should have to get into the Russian universities? There is no clear answer to this because they accept anyone who has a high school diploma as long as you are in the ranking list. So for example, if one of the Russian universities takes 100 international students, you need to be in the top 100 in terms of the ranking of all the applications that they're receiving for that academic year. That's about it. So it really depends on your luck and the pool of applications that they have for that particular year. In terms of the application deadlines, they are very lenient. So for example, if you want to apply for this September 2020 intake, you can apply by the 1st of June or until the 1st of August, depending on university to university. So it's not, unlike USA or Canada or the UK, you need to apply for in advance by 1 year. That's not the case here. The deadlines are very, very lenient. And the admission decisions are pretty quick. The turnaround time, I would say, is between 2 to 3 weeks. For the visa also, the turnaround time is pretty quick. It should be somewhere between 2 to 3 weeks. So you can complete the entire admission and visa process in no more than 2 months. I want to talk a little bit more about the plans after you become a doctor in Russia and Georgia. It is very likely that you will not settle down in those countries, maybe because of lower salaries or maybe because of lower opportunities. But definitely you have a good medical education, a good medical degree from these universities. So you might want to take advantage of that and move to other countries to do your post-graduation. Two most popular countries for doing post-graduation, or as we call Master of Surgery programs, are UK and USA. So if you graduate from a Georgian or Russian state medical university, and if you wish to do your MS program in the UK, what you need to do? First, you need to apply for an exam called as PLAB. You need to pass the PLAB exam, and then you are admitted into something called as the FY1 and FY2 residency program, which is run by the General Medical Council of the UK. Once you finish the residency programs, you can either continue your specialization, so you can go for cardiology or for, say, orthopedics or pediatrics, something like that, or you can continue to work as a doctor or as a physician in the UK. If you wish to go to the US while studying or after studying in one of the Russian or Georgian universities, the process is slightly different from the UK. The USA has an exam called as USMLE, United States Medical License Exam. Probably many of you have already heard of it, which has 3 steps for any medical aspirant to work in the US. The first step you need to complete when you have finished typically the 3rd year of your med school, which examines your knowledge in the theoretical subjects of your medical education. And the second step, you need to do it after you finish your med school, basically after the 6th year of your med school, which examines your knowledge in the clinical subjects, predominantly in the clinical environment of diagnosis and assessments. And the step 3, you need to do it after you have been admitted into one of the residency programs of the USA. So you finish step 1 and step 2, you apply to one of the residency programs, and if you successfully complete the residency program, you complete your step 3, which basically examines your knowledge of the healthcare system from a United States perspective, which means you are ready to work as a doctor from a perspective of US guidelines, or I would say US healthcare guidelines. Once you've cleared your step 3, you can continue to work as a physician or doctor in the US, or you can apply for further specialization. This is typically the path to do your post-graduation in the UK and US. The good news is the degrees from Georgia and Russia, especially the universities that we work with, they're recognized in both the countries, in the UK and US, but you need to complete these steps if you wish to continue as a physician or as a surgeon in these countries. Now, for those students who find this interesting or have already decided who wish to apply to one of the Russian or Georgian universities, in terms of our admission process, the most critical step is the counseling. We wish to understand a little bit more about your profile and about your background, and then we can suggest you which universities you should go for, especially when it comes to Russia. There are so many university options. So we'll try to declutter the options for you and help you make an informed university choice. Once you have selected that, then we will help you with the entire admission process. And once you've got the admission, we will also help you with the visa and the pre-departure formalities. We can understand that Russia and Georgia, for many students, could be an unknown territory. They might not know how to tackle the visa process. So we, in coordination with the universities, simplify that process for you. That's about it. It's a short presentation. I do not want to confuse you by giving you too much information. That's why we invite students for a one-to-one counseling session. For all the GEMS school students, we provide free counseling session. Due to the current pandemic situation, we are providing free video counseling categorically for those students who are currently in the grade 12 or graduating this year or the following year. So you can go to our website and book a counseling session there. Right now, what I wanted to have is probably an open discussion. If you have any question and answers pertaining to the information that I have presented, we will be happy to discuss that. So you can post your questions in the chat. If I have the ready answers, I will answer them right away, or I will take down your details and I can send you an email, or you can send your query to Miss Lena and then I can coordinate with her. Well, I think we have our first question. Are the degrees of these universities recognized in India and UAE? Yes. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, they are recognized by Medical Council of India. So the universities that I have mentioned in the slides before, you can check the names. They are present on the Medical Council of India website. As long as the UAE rules go, they require universities to be approved by the WHO, World Health Organization, and all these universities, public universities, are approved by WHO. So you are allowed to work in the UAE, but you need to pass the Department of Health licensure examination. The degree is recognized, but you need to pass the license exam if you wish to practice further in the UAE or in India. I hope that answers the question. Yeah, there's a question from Ali. Definitely, we can give you a one-to-one session. We do not do career guidance as such. Probably for that, you need to contact your school counselor. We are purely into university admissions. So if you have decided your career choice or the country, you can book the appointment on our website. But indeed, we can take you through all the general information that we have in terms of the country's requirements that might help you make an informed choice. So feel free to book an appointment. We'll be very happy to talk to you. Well, I don't see any more questions coming up. Well, maybe I can add a few points here, maybe some additional information since we have ample of time in our hand. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the engineering universities. Especially in Russia, the universities that I talked about, they also have engineering or business courses in English language at the undergraduate as well as at the postgraduate level. So if any of you are interested to study engineering or any non-medicine related courses, Russia has a lot of choices completely in English with a very similar fee structure. Well, as if there are no further questions, maybe we can conclude the presentation. Ms. Lena, I would need your advice if this is okay, or if there are any further questions. Or you can go to our website, our contact numbers are there, and we'll be very happy to, help you out. Thank you and have a good day. Thank you, Ms. Lena. You too have a good day. Thank you very much.